Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your ITFC match reaction full-time show. And it has finished. Plymouth Argyle 2, Ipswich Town 1. I'm a little bit angry this afternoon. Upset, disappointed, frustrated. Insert your word there. Took the lead. Freddie Ladapo, the greatest goal you're ever going to see, ever. But we couldn't hold on. 2 weeks in a row, we take the lead and we come away this time with nothing. Last week with 1 point. 2 tests. Is that 2 failures for you? We can beat Morecambe. We can beat the Shrewsburys. But we fall short against the top sides. Are you different this afternoon? Are you actually positive? Are you actually, feel like we're moving in the right direction? We're going to match up against those teams at some point in the campaign. I'd love to hear from you this afternoon. As always, do get involved. It is your show, your platform to have your say, totally live, totally unfiltered, and in whatever words you want to put them in. I'll try and get as many comments on the screen as I can. I've got 2 contributors joining me as well. But first of all, don't forget, you can support the channel. You can keep us going. You can help us in growing. Become a YouTube member today. Hit that join button on YouTube or head to our Ko-Fi site and become a Talking Town 5th stander. Monthly packages from $4.99. Amazing value. Absolutely top notch. You won't beat it. Well, I don't think you will, but I'm a bit biased, I guess, because I make it. But if you can, so hit the link, get involved, and support the platform. Right, a couple of comments. We've got Max Facts for those last week saying Bannon wouldn't get run on our team. Difference between Bannon and our midfield is the big games last week is everywhere. Morsey and Evans again missing. Jem, if there's one thing that was obvious from today is that we need a quality striker. We can't keep expecting the midfield to bail us out. Jackson Ladapo, despite today's goals, are not good enough. Andy Harrigan, same old story. As soon as you play someone half decent, we are put in our place. Mike the Fishman, poor subs, and game management cost us at least a draw. Midfield, second half, all over the place. Best squad in the league. Excuse my language, up us 2 in the afternoon. Bollocks. Fans blaming the kit too, and an excuse. The kit was awful. I'm not colourblind, but I could not make out Plymouth's right side throughout that first half. I was losing players left, right, and centre. Lee, taking the dapper off, lost us the game. Couldn't hold the ball high at the pitch, same as Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, again, I don't think the substitutions were good. What Dominic Ball has to do to get a game, I don't know. But we'll cover that as we move forward. Keep the comments coming in, and I'm about to drop the live link. But Curtis, welcome back. I'll start with you. It's finished 2-1. Disappointment. How are you feeling? How are you feeling after that 90 minutes?
I don't know. I think there is an overriding sense of disappointment there, but I don't really know how to take that game. To be honest, I'm of the opinion that I think we were second best throughout that game. I know people are saying how they think we played well, but I don't really think we played amazingly. Especially, and this is what I base it off is the high standard that we've set in previous weeks. That's not just from a today standard. That's from what this team has set previously. I don't think we ever really got out of first gear, never mind second gear. I think again, obviously, Ladapo's goal was fantastic.
Greatest goal you're going to see. Just put that to bed right now. The greatest goal we're ever going to see in our lives. Done.
Of course. But I think we all have to even admit then that was quite lucky. I mean, I made a few notes, and in terms of clear-cut chances, I mean, apart from another one that their keeper had to palm off again from a deflection, there was nothing really there that the keepers had to really stretch for. Again, maybe Moore's shot that wasn't in top corner, but he held on to that quite well. I thought that was in the first half, but I don't know. I think today is just it's an overriding sense of disappointment, really. So I just think overall we were second best all over that pitch. I really do think that. I don't think we just showed the quality that we can do, and that's what's most disappointing for me.
Yeah, you see, for me, and George, who's on tomorrow night with Owen, has said, don't panic. It's only 2 games, 1 point out of the 6 available. But for me, I expect us to beat Shrewsbury, Fleetwood, Forest Green. No disrespect to those football clubs before I bring Amy in. This week and last week, the 2 tests, I view that as failing because the manner of the draw last week wasn't what I find acceptable, being 2-0 up. And then obviously drawing 2-2. And then today, as you say, I don't think you're wrong in your assessment. I don't feel we were really ever in that game on a strong foothold. We had patches, we had periods, of course, but we never really, even at half-time, 1-0 up, Amy, I didn't feel we had control of the game. How did you see it this afternoon? Before you do, actually, Bob Lockhart, new YouTube member. Bob, thank you. Welcome home. Welcome to the Talking Town family. Amy, over to you. What are your thoughts and feelings?
Well, I think first half it was very evenly matched. I think we had points where we just looked superb, and then and as did they. I think it was clear that these were the two teams from the top of the league. But second half, they knew how to come back against us. Personally, I thought the subs were really good. I'm sure we'll come on to talk about that. But they then didn't. I think they needed to be followed up with more, and they weren't. And we just completely lost our energy. And I know quite a few people have said it in the comments, but for me, it was about the way the players, particularly Morsey, particularly Evans, started backing off because they were on yellows. And that yellow in the first half from Morsey started him having to back up really early on. So potentially one of those many yellows that we were picking up today, one of them should have been subbed to allow us the movement. Because let's be honest, Plymouth were on the floor more than they were on the ball. They were constantly they were always constantly playing for fouls. So I mean, we can't talk. Chaplin did it for their first goal, but
is that a foul to you? Is that a foul?
No, it wasn't for me, not at all. It's two players going up against each other in the box.
I think for me, some referees would give it, but yeah. I don't. I mean, I appealed sitting here in my chair, and I think some referees would give it. But however, I do have to say that after replays, etc., I do think that Chaplin has gone looking for that.
He may have gone looking for it, but for me, I don't care if you look for it or not. It's a foul all day, every day, particularly in the area where it is.
I can't see what their player did wrong to call
he ran straight into my player and then gained the advantage from it. It's more the advantage they gained from it.
That's like when James, my 3-year-old, gets annoyed that Harry, my 6-year-old, has run into him. It's like, well, James, if you walk in front of him, he's going to run into you.
But that doesn't mean you're not fouled just because you position your body between the ball and the man. That for me is still a foul. But it's splitting hairs because I was sitting at home. Amy, before I bring in the fisherman, I was sitting at home and I'm thinking, this is coming. It's just wave after wave after wave after wave.
Yeah,
nothing comes from our bench. That's what concerned me today. If I can see it, right, what's this Dom got to do to get a game, Amy?
I'm with you. I would have liked to have seen him come on. I did like the initial substitution because for me, we needed to shore up the defence. There was a gap on Caden's side, but for me, that was because he was pushing forward and creating chances. So I was expecting it to be KVY for Jackson. So I was glad that it wasn't, because I felt like Jackson was one of our best, probably our best player on the pitch for me. So I liked that substitution because it felt like it was being done to keep us pushing forward. But there was no backup to that. There was no then I started to worry about the yellow cards and stuff. And today, yes, possibly could have been Ball's chance to get on the pitch.
I just felt the midfield was a little bit weak. We're going to bring in Fisherman, Nathan Pearson, test of character now. We push on for 3 points next week. Darryl, Plymouth 2 goals were outstanding strikes from outside the area. If that what it takes to beat us, we've got nothing to worry about. 2 very good teams going at it. We just come out of the wrong end. My issue with that, and I do agree with you there, we always seem to fall out on the wrong end of the big games, Mike.
Do you know what? I'd have took a draw. At one point, there was like in the second half, I just thought, do you know what? This is going to end up as a draw, and I'd have taken that all day long. I'd have been happy with it. I'd have been fine with it. Well, what's Kieran McKenna doing? Look, everybody's going, he's the best manager and all that. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's a very good manager. I'm not going to start saying, we need to get him out and all that crap, because that's rubbish. But what was he doing again today? Poor management decisions. What Lee Evans and Morsey were just getting overrun in the midfield. They were honestly, second half. I mean, this is meant to be Morsey's meant to be one of the best midfielders in this league. Last week he was scored by Bannon, and this week he was scored by 2 Plymouth players. No disrespect, but he's a good player and a very good player, and on his day he is unplayable. But you cannot give a team like Plymouth any space in that midfield, especially towards what has Ball got to do to get a game in this league?
It's a fair point.
I'm staggered. I'm absolutely staggered. I called it last week against Wednesday. I said we needed Ball. You bring Keogh on and we concede. We needed Ball today for Evans, or for Evans probably would have been, he'd been more defensively. He'd have picked up them runners in the midfield. Them shots outside that area probably wouldn't have happened if Ball had been in that area. Bill Ball had been on the pitch. Jackson became ineffective when he went up front. I thought he was outstanding on the right today. I've not, guys, I'm not Jackson's biggest fan, but I thought he was outstanding today on that.
He was.
He chased everything, and he played some lovely balls across that 6-yard box, and there was no one there to tap it in.
No, it wasn't. You're right. Definitely. Yeah, he played really well that right side.
That to me was, that was frustrating enough, and yet again, it took Ladapo about 7 attempts to get a goal. But I mean, look, he's got a goal in the league now. 2 goals in 2. If you want to look at it like that. But look, I can't emphasise this enough. I said this last season. I said it the season before. You draw our away games, you win as many home games as you can. Right now, I'm really concerned because we're conceding goals now, and we're not scoring enough. We're getting in positions to score. Ladapo got in some good positions today. I mean, a player of his ilk or whatever, that header straight at the keeper. That should have gone left or right of the keeper. It's not like he didn't have time. And no, Chappers wasn't fouled for that first one, for that fair first goal, not in a million. That he ran into the player and fell over. Well, I'd have never given it as a referee. I'm really peed off today.
I would have done.
And people have been harping on that we're the best team in this league and we've got the best squad in this league. Give your heads a wobble. We aren't the best squad in this league. We haven't got the best players in this league. Otherwise, we'd be top unbeaten and with about in about 6 points clear. The reality is,
until today, we were the best team in the league. We were top of the league. We were undefeated.
Being top of the league doesn't make you the best team in this league. Watch what happens at the end of the season. That's what makes a difference.
Okay, but then top of
the league in May, you're the best team in this league.
I mean,
by the end of May, you're sitting there 7th or 6th. You're not the best team in the league.
But we may well end up being, top of the table come end of May. You've got to take it. If you're taking that view, you've got to take this in its isolation as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
My concern is we spoke before these 3 games, 3 big tests, 3 markers about where we are as a football club. For me, the manner of the draw last week means it was a point that wasn't the best result, and we've got 1 out of 6 points. That's 2 tests, 2 failures for me, Mike. How do you see it before we bring somebody else?
And that's the thing. That is the thing. Look. Yeah, earlier, literally 5 minutes ago, I switched it off because I just couldn't watch it anymore because I was getting too frustrated. For me, Kieran McKenna's got to start and stop trying to tinker around too much with that front line. We can guess the back 3, we can guess the midfield, but that front line there's no consistency with it. And I know, look, Ladapo hasn't been playing well, and he hasn't scored goals, and he is a bit of a lazy player, but the end of the day is, look, we know we're not going to win every game this season, and I get that. And yeah, I'm frustrated as probably every fan out there. But like I said, I can take a loss. I just can't. It's the manner of the loss. A game today, there didn't need to be a loss. If you'd have got your tactics right, and if you'd have got your substitutions right, a draw would have come away. Okay, look, it's a good draw against Plymouth. Plymouth are a well organised, well drilled, a very
incredible,
good side. They've got some great players. Jackson. I mean, like I said, I wasn't overly keen on playing Jackson on that right side, but he was brilliant. And for me, like I said, man of the match for what he did on that right hand side, because there was nothing else. But again, our so-called best midfield in this league again failed us miserably in that second half. And if anybody says any different, then they don't know nothing about football, because we needed Dominic Ball in there, who was again outstanding on Tuesday against a young, Arsenal side, who again, like I said, that Arsenal side are no mugs. They don't play for Arsenal and for no reason. They play because they're good players, and that's why we got one of their youngsters on loan. I just think that. Evans hasn't.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think you're right.
Evans
I really
to me
do.
showed in the last 2 league games, that he's good at set piece. Set pieces are better, and he's okay going forward. But defensively, he's all over the shop.
Okay, Mike, appreciate you coming on. I know you were fuming at full time. We love you, brother. Look after yourself. We'll speak soon. I think he's right. I mean, the country in a minute, he's got his name as game management, because, Amy, if you take this game in isolation, then it's a game where you've matched a team that's well organised, not been beaten at home yet this year, despite the season only being 10 games old. But it's not just the isolation, is it? It's the fact that you threw away 3 points last week. You've come into this game and again taken the lead, thrown away 3 points. In isolation, it's not too bad, but together, that's what makes it feel a little bit more of a gut punch, I guess.
But then the argument could be, if you take this past week in isolation, then yes, 8 days, then yes, you might be a little bit nervous. I am nervous about where we're going after a draw that should have been a win and a defeat today. Yes, I'm nervous about how the players are going to cope with that. But as Mike's just said, we're however many games into a full 9 months of a season.
Yeah,
so if you're panicking now that we've messed it all up at Plymouth away, then it's a little bit premature. This is, as of today, the best side in the league. Plymouth have just gone top, so they are the best side in the league as we stand. My nerves are the fact that we've got Portsmouth, we've got Pompey to play next. That isn't helping. But for me, I just think actually it's a decent result. For me, this result is actually, it's fine on its own in isolation. It's just the fact that actually everybody seems to have forgotten this was our first defeat of the season. Plymouth haven't lost at home yet this season. Plymouth haven't conceded at home yet this season, and we managed to get a goal past them. So I still think there's positives to take, but that doesn't mean I'm nervous about where this is going next.
No, but I did think this guy, commentator, they weren't the greatest commentators in the world. I'm not going to no disrespect to either of them, but he did say it well. Town often have got out to good leads or good runs in the past, and then the wheels have fallen off. And I guess I can feel, Rich, why certain fans, are feeling that, because you can beat Shrewsbury, you can beat Forest Green, but your top sides, the sides you expect to play again in the playoffs if you need to, just falling that little bit short. Game management.
Good afternoon, everyone. By the way, good afternoon, Yatesy, Amy. Amy's spot on there about if you take it in isolation. Look, if we sat here, Martin, at the start of July when we had the first game, 1 defeat in 10, that under anyone's record is a decent start. It's today. It was like last Saturday at Sheffield Wednesday. Gov, like your game management was poor there. Freddie Ladapo's got a lot of stick. I thought he was excellent today. Now, Caden Jackson was excellent, Martin. He scored a goal and he was a pest. Now, he took him off and he's brought John Jules on, who offered nothing for me. He's brought Jackson into the middle when he was having a load of success out on the right-hand side. Then later on, he's put him back out there. I think sometimes we try and be a little bit too clever. That game was calling out for Dominic Ball. You had 2 centre midfielders there, Lee Evans and Sam Morsey, were both on yellow cards, Martin. They couldn't make a tackle. They could not make a tackle because any other foul and they were off the pitch. So I think today, listen, Plymouth are a good side. And I did say Friday night, I said, I don't want to blow my own trumpet. I said 2-1 Plymouth. And I did say also, everyone said I was grumpy, guys, on Friday. This team has achieved absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing but a decent start to the season. We ain't achieved anything. We're in September, Martin. We're second in the league. Brilliant. Great start. Now comes the test. We should have had more than 1 point from these 2 games. Now you go next Saturday, Portsmouth at home, who are absolutely flying, Let's see what this team have got now, because we need to show a reaction next Saturday. It's going to be a big crowd. Pompey are going to be up for it. And we've got to be up for it as well as fans and as players, because you know what our fan base are like. Everyone's losing their shit, like Mike. But we've only lost 1 game in 10. Let's all just pump the brakes a little bit and say, look, it's a good start. And Kieran McKenna, as a manager, Martin, he is still learning.
He is, yeah.
He's still learning. But today, I think it's a game we shouldn't have lost, But they've got that equaliser from a man possibly shouldn't have been on the pitch. You know, that the tackle on Donatian was naughty, but we can't sit here and moan because Lee Evans is lucky he's still on the pitch. Sam Morsey was still lucky on the pitch, you know. So it's a great finish. But then after that, for the 5 or 10 minutes, it's take the sting out of the game, get your foot on the ball, and we didn't do that. And I think if we're all being honest, we could see that second goal coming. We can't sit here and moan about. Look, it was a poor pass by George Edmondson. You've said it before, Gov. This is the way we want to play football. You know, brave and in certain areas. And it was a poor pass. It was a great finish. And then we didn't really threaten. Listen, Christian Walton's header, it's 2 inches lower. It's a goal, isn't it? It's like, it's them small margins. Today, we've been beaten by, are Plymouth better than us? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think they're a better side than we are, but I think overall, if you're looking at that game, they probably just about edged it, Martin. So I don't want to sit here and say we should have won the game. We had the chances, we didn't take them, you know, and that is football. But let's see what we got next Saturday when Portsmouth come to town. Yeah,
I said before the game, Rich, this is a good chance for the club to show fans that perhaps have drifted away, don't watch us very often, casual viewers, to just show this is a different Ipswich, a different setup, a different everything. And somebody just put a comment on the pre-game show saying, same old ITFC, came against top 6, but bottled it. Which, you know, if you're a casual fan, same old, it is almost same old ITFC. Yeah, you can beat Forest Green.
I love football, and watching that game today, look, we all want town to win. It was a fantastic advert for League One football. And a lot of people out there,
Rich. I want points.
Yeah, but listen to me. Just let me finish. A lot of people out there think the Premier League is the only football that exists. You know, there's decent football down the leagues, Martin. And that showed today from both teams, not just Plymouth, but Town as well, that there is good football. Yeah, I know. Look, we wear blue. We want to win. Another thing I want to say, the kit clash on the telly, not great, was it? Green and blue. It was, wasn't it, Amy?
I think you can see who's got really expensive, like proper high definition tellies, because there's a few people saying, oh, there wasn't a clash. And then the rest of us have obviously got smaller tellies to watch it on or something. Because definitely, I actually got confused right at the start. I was like, oh, hang on, we're going that way, aren't we? So, and the sleeves at points looked, both of them white. Why we couldn't have had blue shorts on today?
Yeah, that would have.
How many times we've had to swap kits in the past because of being too similar. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking that.
We've got 221 people watching us live on YouTube. If you are watching us, hit the like button. Support the platform by just that simple way. If you can't become a fifth-time member, hit the like button. Rich, game management is your name. Kit clash aside, Dominic Ball, what's he got to do to get actual competitive minutes?
I don't really know, because it's all right playing well against Arsenal kids, Northampton kids, but he's fit now and he's ready to go. So I would have thought second half it was crying out for him, Martin. Look, I would have bought him on at half time. Marcus Harness, I thought, was a bit of a passenger today. He was another who was on a yellow. And even when to be fair though, for about the first 15 minutes of the second half, guys, we were the better team, Curtis. You know, and we had a couple of sniffs there and maybe score. And look, goals do change games. I'll probably, as soon as that equaliser went in, I'd have got Ball on straight away there, Martin. I think don't wait for another 5-10 minutes and the game got away from you. And midfield too. I agree with Mike today. It's all right. Like when we're having loads of possession against teams like Accrington and Burton, no disrespect for them, Lee Evans has looked great. You know, no time on the ball today. No time on the ball at Sheffield Wednesday with our midfield, Martin. They shut them down. They didn't let them get a foot on the ball. And look, these teams know what they're doing. Look, full credit to Plymouth. They're a very good side. He's a very good manager, Schumacher. And I'm disappointed because I think we should have taken a point there. If it had been 1-1 and we were sitting here at full time, we're still unbeaten. We're still top of the league. But I don't know. It's just football, isn't it? It is frustrating because
it's the same mistakes for me. Last week, subs. This week, lack of. I could see it sitting in my living room drinking a cup of coffee, that this is only going one way and you need to stem that flow. I called for Keogh and Ball. I wanted Keogh's mindset, Ball's tenacity. We got neither. That's my concern.
Yeah, he bought John Jules and Kane Vincent Young on, and I agree with you. I don't think they were the subs that probably were needed because Caden Jackson was having success down that right hand side. You move him into the centre. You move him into the centre, Martin, and you took away that threat. You know, it's a totally different position. He's playing with his back to goal. Then he's brought on a Hadme, who, for me, he looks like a bit of a fish out of water at the minute, Martin. I don't want to write him off because he's only playing a few minutes here and there, but he's got a lot of work to do, I think.
Yeah,
but listen, let's not get carried away. We've had a good start to the season. 10 games, 1 defeat. If we go another 10 games and only have 1 defeat, look, we're going to have a decent season. But I do agree, flat track bullies, Martin. We haven't beaten anybody yet. We haven't beaten anybody
frustration,
yet.
Isn't it? I think.
Yeah, and I know you can go through the season by not beating the top 6. You can still have a successful season because you can beat all the other teams, but you do have to lay a marker down. We've had 2 opportunities here, and we've had big opportunities, Martin, because we've been leading in both games. Leading in both games at half time, leading at both games into the second half with a lot of time gone in the second half. And you think that's the frustrating part about it because we're close to being a good side. But at the minute, we don't
get you anywhere, does it?
No, we don't. And let's see how the next month goes because after Portsmouth, look, we've got games there that we should be winning. We're going to Morecambe, places like that. No disrespect to them, but I want to see Saturday when Portsmouth comes to town. I want to see a real positive front foot performance. Let's get in their faces, Martin, and let's get the 3 points and let's really lay down a marker in this league. Don't come away at 10-5, 5-5 when we're all meeting at Sir Alf and we're frustrated again from another team who are in and around us because today we would have taken a point because you wouldn't have given Plymouth. They wouldn't have stolen a march on us.
I would have done it 1-1 because the way we were playing, I thought this is only going to go one way and one way only.
You can see it. You can see it by watching it. It was the same last Saturday. As soon as Sheffield Wednesday got that goal, it's like that tidal wave, and you think sooner or later they're going to get another goal. And we couldn't stem that flow. It's all about learning. We're still learning. Kieran's still learning, and you have to learn from your mistakes, Martin. We can all say, look, Kieran McKenna, outstanding young manager, but
love him.
The last 2 games, I think he's got it wrong with his subs. I honestly do.
Yeah, no, spot on. Rich, it's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's nice to be on. And nice to see Curtis and nice to see Amy.
Love you. Look after yourself. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you next Friday.
Looking forward to it. Does
Matt Phillips know the score yet?
No, he doesn't. No. He's still at Legoland, oblivious.
No spoilers. No spoilers for Matt.
Don't watch it, Matt. I wouldn't put yourself through that Rocky Horror Show. Crunch, look after yourself.
Come on, keep the faith. Keep the faith.
We have got 2 more fans joining us very shortly. We only get shit. I think he's got refs on his name. I couldn't quite see the last bit. And Colin the Goat. If you are listening at home, pulling your hair out, thinking, I can't believe what I'm hearing, then get involved. Have your say, live chat, or just via coming on the show, hitting the link now in the chat. You don't need a webcam, just a microphone. In fact, I'll show you right now. You can just be like this, bish, bash, bosh, or you can have both. Get involved. Have your say. Don't sit there at home thinking, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Also, we have got 238 viewers on YouTube. It's phenomenal. But hit that like button. It's all you do this afternoon. Hit the like button. Support the platform. Right. Before we bring in, we only get shit refs. Curtis, before the game, you highlighted Leif Davis. Ben Hobbs in the chat says, what did you make of Leif Davis? Curtis, over to you. What did you make of the player you were watching?
I thought first half, I thought he had an okay game, but listen, I wasn't focusing on one player. I'll be absolutely honest. I was watching the whole team, and I mean, I saw not the goats comment there, but I did see A. Collins. Is that the goat who commented?
No,
there?
It's not. No, it won't be him. No.
I did see Collins comment there saying a side showing up for 25 minutes and got the win. I think that's so wrong. I think that is so wrong. I think we never settled into that game today. We never settled into that game. I think we were always on our heels. And I don't think we ever really got a moment's peace from Plymouth. And I can gladly admit if we play badly and win. However, just because we lose, it doesn't mean we've played well and lost. Like to me, I think we were second best on that pitch today. I think Schumacher had done as his Ipswich Town does today. I think he's done.
I like that.
I think he's done what we plan to do to them, but he's just done it better. And I think for me, I made notes throughout the game, and I looked at the chances, and I'm talking clear cut, cutting through our team chances here. I got 11 chances for Plymouth. 11 cutting through our team, and barring like poor finishing. I mean, I saw Randall fizzed one at Walton in the first half where it looked like it was going to go absolutely anywhere. Another one, I can't remember who the player was, fizzed it straight past Walton's far post, and unfortunately went out for a throw-in. And then I'm looking like the one in the 3rd minute where it could have easily gone. A Plymouth player, all he needs to do is pass it across. Another striker's there and it goes in. To me, compared to Plymouth's 11 clear-cut chances, we had 6. And I was being generous with 6. And then you get to a point in the 80th minute of that game. I knew for a fact we weren't going to get anything out of that game because we kind of, at that point, we were just petering towards the 90th minute for me. And listen, we can say that Plymouth only turned up for 20-odd minutes in that game, but for me, as you mentioned there, we could have brought on Dominic Ball. But however, what I would say to Dominic Ball is we did this last week at Sheffield. We did this last week at Sheffield Wednesday. They scored, and then some argued that we then invited the pressure by bringing on someone like Richard Keogh to bolster that defence. So who's to say that this week we wouldn't have had that same issue of possibly bringing on your Keogh or your Ball, and then they still go ahead and we concede again. It's ifs and buts when it comes to that. But you'll never really get a good thing when it comes to subs because you'll obviously get the contingent who say, if we bring on more defensive subs, you invite the pressure on, you invite them to attack more because we look like we're trying to settle for what we've got. We can make a big deal about the subs. And listen, by far, the game management to me, I think it all rested on Ladapo going off. I thought when we lost that head up front to leave the ball out for Jackson and leave the ball out for the left wing, I think that was the downfall of our game. I think that one sub really did cost us. And I think it would be harsh. I think you also, whilst saying that, yes, it's not a great result today, I think it's harsh to then diminish what Plymouth have done today. I think Plymouth played well. I think they were the better team today. And I think you have to give them props for what they did. Because whilst their goals, in my opinion, came from our own mistakes, they were 2 fantastic finishes. 2 fantastic finishes. The second goal, absolutely top bins. So for me, it would be harsh to not respect the opposition today. And listen, I'm judging this off Ipswich's standards that they've set in previous weeks. I'm not judging this as a standalone game. This is the standards that they've set themselves. And we cannot play the same way we did today against Portsmouth next week, especially in front of the crowd that's going to be there. Because if we do play like that, I can guarantee now, especially in the manner that we've lost, in the manner of the last 2 games, we've been 2-0 up, 2-2. Today, 1-0 up, and we've quickly conceded 2 goals. Now, if that happens again in the 3rd game in a row, that does look very dangerous, especially to the people higher up in the club. To me.
On the other side of it, there's a David Sell, Plymouth fan, who's been commenting, finding his comments really interesting.
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
just said they're kind of the comeback kings at the moment. They've come back from 1-0 down against us. They came back from 2-0 down against Pompey, and then I think they were 1-0 or 2-0 against Derby, and they came back and won that game. So they're absolutely buoying from the confidence that it doesn't bother them if they go 1 behind. Whereas we concede and we seem to get scared. We seem to start to question our worth as soon as we concede. If we win 3-0, we are without a doubt the best team in the league the way we play. But as soon as we concede, we get nervy.
Yeah. Well, this is it. We as Kev Sherwood says, one word sums up our club today: naive. Which is, I think, is a fair point there. Amy, I'm going to ask you about Edmondson in just a second. Before I do, I'll bring on Philip Blundell. Philip, how you doing, my friend? Are you well?
Good. I'm pissed off at the moment because I totally disagree with what Yates has just said. That's made me more annoyed because you're being a bit negative. Sorry, I apologise for attacking the person. Okay,
no, that's absolutely,
but I've come away from the pub royally fucked off.
Because
I tell you here and now, right? The second half, Schumacher waited until McKenna made his 2 defensive subs and he brought them on. Then he made his change, And what did he do to his team? They played a higher line. They pushed us back, knowing for the rest of the game, with McKenna bringing on his the changes that he made in the second half, meant that we weren't going to push forward. They pushed forward in this sort of halfway throughout the second half, and it worked when they made their changes just after us. And that was the key difference for Plymouth in the second half today, which gave them more time on the ball, which gave them the possession in the areas that they needed to. And what really annoys me is, what really fucks me off more than anything this lunchtime was the fucking referee. Okay, that was a foul on Chaplin. He ran across the Plymouth player, and the Plymouth player was clumsy and he tripped him. Okay, I'm a former referee, Yatesy, 8 years referee, and I know what I'm talking about.
I'm
because
with you.
I'll also add on the fact that referee, he should have sent Morsey off in the first half. He didn't. He should have at least cautioned that number, and he didn't. And the decisions, I felt, by half-time were going against Town increasingly. And the second half, it got worse.
We can't always blame it on referees, though.
No, I'm not blaming the referee. I've just pointed out the key difference in the game for me was when Schumacher waited until McKenna made his 2 changes first, and then he changed his tactics. And their tactics today, this lunchtime, were more effective than ours in the second half. But for the majority of that game, Town were in control.
No,
yes, in the first 15 minutes, Town 3 or 4 chances that Plymouth, good chances that Plymouth had on goal. But after 10, 15 minutes of that first half, Town took control of that game. And yes, we got a bit lucky for the first goal, but generally we should not have lost that game. And what cost us today was that stupid fucking referee. Again, I was annoyed with the assistant referee because he was bullied into submission by not raising his flag last Saturday. And I'm pissed off with the referee this lunchtime for what he didn't do in the second half.
Phil, you need to calm down. You need to cool your jets. You're very.
We've made a fantastic start to the season,
fire.
And I'm happy we're still in the top 2. But we really need to beat Portsmouth on Saturday.
Okay, Phil, you're talking through frustration. I appreciate the passion. We love you. Look after yourself. Cool down in a darkened room. Obviously, views are his own, not of myself or HDR Media.
I just want to quickly challenge that point. So
go for it.
I understand. Again, I more than most, I talk out of frustration. I am one of the worst people for talking out of frustration. But in the same breaths, then he was blaming the referee, but then he also said that Schumacher managed that game better than McKenna because Schumacher watched the subs that McKenna made and hence then made his subs and then continued to attack us. So then, is that not us being our own downfall? Did we not cause our own downfall? Did we not manage that game better in the same way that Rich was saying before? Schumacher played a blinder on us there.
He did.
He played an absolute blinder, and we need to stop blaming the referees. I'm sorry, but we need to stop. This is League One. Yes, we're not going to have top referees. We've not got VAR. We've not even got goal line technology, even though it's installed in Portman Road. So just deal with what we've got. You control what you can control. We can't control what bad refs, what good refs we get in each game. This is League One. We know this by now. Yeah. And yes, to be fair, the referee wasn't good today, but he equally wasn't good to Plymouth either. He was equally as bad on both sides. It's just that, unfortunately, when it comes down to it, Schumacher's game management was far better than ours today, in my opinion. And I don't think you can put today's loss down to the referee. I don't think you can.
No, I don't think you can. I'm still of the opinion that it was a foul, but you get on with it. It's still 1-1. You have to manage that situation better. Great points there, Yatesy. Amy, before I've been calling in, you highlighted Edmondson before the game. How did you see his 90 minutes? Obviously, a costly mistake for the second. What did you make of Mr. Edmondson in that left side?
It wasn't a great game for him, was it? There was quite a few mistakes in there, giving the ball away and not marking people when he should have done. Certainly didn't look as assured as Burgess did the last time I watched Town play. So, I didn't come away feeling greatly confident about him today. But same as what we've been saying all along, it's one game, and I think the defence in general were not. There was nothing spectacular about them. I think Edmondson still got more to do potentially.
a lot more to do. He looks very uncomfortable on that left side, not left-footed, not naturally there. Lloyd says Fridge needs to be dropped. Jem, Fridge is struggling, simple as. Colin,
Did you
welcome
see the
in.
comment earlier? Fridge needs to be relegated to an ice pack.
I'd just like to say as
sorry.
well. I'd just like to say as well, from Philip Blundell's comment there saying that we controlled that game. BBC Sport have us at nearly 50-50 possession.
Hey, well, that's a good opinion, but let's keep it on track. Attack opinions, not people. Everyone sees the game of football completely differently. Colin, how did you see that 90 minutes?
Hello, mate. Look, I thought the first half, we was well in the game. We started well. We had Ladapo, especially Ladapo. I mean, a lot of people are riled today. I'm not very happy myself, but you've got to get all this into perspective. We've played 10 games after today. We've lost one game after today, which on the whole 90 minutes or 96 or 100 minutes or however many minutes we to play total, I'm not so sure. I think a draw would have probably just about been a fair result, in my opinion. When you take the first half into consideration in itself, they had a couple of really good chances, I know, but also Ladapo had at least, including his goal, he had at least 3 chances. Jackson had a good chance. I mean, I said to Nick, who watched it with me today, it could have quite easily been 2-2 at half time. Yeah. Could have possibly been 3-2-10. I thought we shaded the first half, like Carl said earlier. Second half, obviously, they came more into the game. Like I said yesterday, I didn't text Richard because I did say it last year. If you go back on the tapes, although they just missed out on the playoffs, Plymouth are I watched them twice last year. They're a very good side. They're a very, very well-oiled side. They're technically a very good side. They've got a good fan base. They get behind their side. They've got a lot going for them. I said that last year, if you remember, Gov. And did I think, a lot of people were saying, being they didn't make the playoffs, they wouldn't be anywhere near it. I disagree. I thought they'd be up there. Whether I thought they'd make the top 6, I'm not sure, but I thought they'd be up there. Because, like I say, they've got a good manager, a good squad, and whatever. So, and nothing's really surprised me. But what I will say about today's game, I think it was kind of talked about on Sky today that that was a great advert for Division 1 football. 2 very, very good sides, and I'll tell you what, that would be a very brave man, very, very brave man to bet against them to at least not being in the top 6 or even the top 2. I said to Nick today, I watched the game last week live at Hillsborough, and I watched the game obviously live today on TV. The first game I've missed this season, but I've seen 90 minutes of Plymouth today, and I would say Plymouth are the equal of Sheffield Wednesday, without no shadow of a doubt. They're a good side, and anybody who think they're not a good side, give your heads a wobble, because
Very good side.
They are a very, very good side, and coached very well. And people have just gone, calm down a little bit. We've got Portsmouth next Saturday, which I think, to be honest with you, Amy, Curtis and Gov, I think it's a really good thing, because that gives us the opportunity to obviously hopefully catch Plymouth up again and gain a few points on Pompey. So, a lot of people might be like hiding behind the sofa thinking, oh my God, we got Portsmouth next week. No, great. 28,000. Portsmouth at home, bring it on. Let's have it. I'm sure Kieran in this next 3 or 4 or 5 days will, he'll iron a few things out, and we'll be ready to go.
Absolutely.
Perfect way to bounce back, innit?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to bounce back. You're absolutely right. Colin, before I let you go and we close the show, give me one positive from today. Who really impressed you, or a formation, a tactical change? What? Give me anything to cling on to. One positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Quite a few positives actually.
Go for it.
Christian Walton's header. No, well, it was a positive. I'm just having a
I
little.
was already up here.
amazing.
I was already up here.
No,
I'm going to back and watch it. I didn't see it.
having a little joke. Caden Jackson obviously again had a brilliant game. Ladapo, I totally agree with what Peter said earlier. Had a really good game. Should never have been took off really. And you know, I'm just gonna go over what Phil said a little while ago. I'll tell you what, some of those refereeing decisions, you know, I'm not gonna defend the Ipswich players either. I mean, Lee Evans was lucky to stay on the pitch. Morsey was lucky to stay on the pitch. The lad who scored for Plymouth was definitely lucky to stay on the pitch. That was an awful challenge then, Danastian's Achilles. That could have been a season ender. That could have been a season ender for Danastian. Literally, if it had done his Achilles bad, that could have done his career. But equally, Evans and Morsey's tackle were awful. That referee was shocking again today. I know Peter keeps saying we shouldn't keep going on about referees, but it's not just a coincidence. They're bad. They're bad every week. But another positive for next Saturday is that I think that especially the last or the middle of like the second half, there's no way in the world we'll play especially in the midfield, no way in the world we'll play as badly as that twice runner. Not in my opinion.
Okay.
So,
Colin?
Mr. Cowley, watch out because we're after you. We're after you. And also, Peterborough, you're still tin pot.
Colin, we love you. Look after yourself.
Bye,
Absolutely appreciate you coming on. Love that. Link for Neil. Neil, if you can click the link within 5 seconds, you can come on. But I'm about to sort of wind it down. You got literally a few seconds. Jackson was good, says Jem, needs to get his head up more often. Tony, biggest positive was that we got stuck in. Walton was so good, should have scored, says Liam. John Warren, too many second touches before shooting. Amy, as we close up, tempo, urgency, pace of play. Second half, 2-1 down. I'm screaming at my TV. Pass and move, touch and move, touch and move, touch and move, because we're so slow and pedestrian in our build-up play, aren't we? Even a goal down.
I don't know if we were just trying to get back a bit of control, because it did certainly second half. It felt all them. So I don't know whether that was why we were trying to slow it down a bit. But there was a few times we were getting cross as well. Just clear the flipping ball out of the area, out of our half. Sometimes, as much as I know passing football is what we all want, we have a tendency to sort of pass it across to each other when really there's too much pressure. We just need to get rid of it. That was always me playing when I played as a defender. It was just like, just get it out. That was, I mean, I was never any good, but maybe that was what I was doing wrong. But yes, I think you're right. The tempo, given the energy that we allegedly went into the game with, we travelled up there so that we weren't knackered and things like that. We travelled up there yesterday so we weren't knackered today and stuff like that. I felt going into it, the idea was we're going to come out all guns blazing. And you're right, we didn't. But maybe that is because, that's the first team that's really scared us. And we needed to try and claw back a bit of control, because we have been miles better than most of the teams we've played so far.
Flat track bullies, though, as someone said in the chat. We've got Neil. He's outside, so he might not have a great connection. Neil, are you there?
Hi, Gav.
Yeah.
Hello, mate. Let us know what you think, what you feel. How'd you see the game?
Very disappointing again. Second season on the trot, 1 up, and just end up losing 2-1 again. Can you say a lot about that? You can't keep blaming the refs, but the second year running again, the referee absolutely atrocious. 2 seasons running down there, terrible, absolutely awful. But as regarding the game, I did manage to have a chat with Callie at the end. I saw him. We sort of disagreed on things a little bit, and which you do. Football's opinions, isn't it? For me,
Absolutely,
he made
yeah.
a mistake second. For me, he made a mistake second go Edmondson. But in my opinion, I thought he had a very good game personally. That's how I saw it live. But yeah, a bad error for the second go. And no matter what keeper you got in go, no one's going to save that shot. Two brilliant taken goes. You can't blame Wilton for any of them. You know, Wilton kept us in the game sometimes. You know.
He did. How did you see Morsey and Evans before I let you go? Because signal was a bit robotic. How did you see Morsey and Evans?
Morsey, I thought was very good. Evans, no, I thought he was very poor. Evans, to be honest, Gov.
Yeah, it wasn't his greatest game. And before I let
Very
you go,
poor.
What did you make of this? Very poor. What did you make of the substitutions then? What was right? What was wrong?
I froze up. I think
he's gone. He's gone. Neil, we appreciate you coming on. Shark, anyone? No, a spot on crunch late in the game where they were happy to let us stand with the ball at the back. Right, we're done. Thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. Hit the like button, become a fifth stander, hit the join button on YouTube, or head to our Ko-Fi site. We really do appreciate the support you show the platform. I'm off to edit Phil Blundell's comments out. Phil was passionate, man. I love passion, but he was just so angry with it. Love you, Phil. Respect. Come on. I know, it blew me away at times. I was like, wow, this is like being surrounded by a fire. Amy, what are you up to the rest of the day?
I'm going to be nothing fun. I'm afraid I'm walking home and getting some work done. So I might have a bit of a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics tournament with me hubby because the kids love that. So
okay, Curtis, yourself?
I think I'm gonna treat the other half to trip out to the cinema, and then we'll probably come home and watch something that's not so fun. That new Dharma series on Netflix. So.
Okay.
So absolute belter, really, 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 really looking a great evening. But no, I'm looking forward to it.
You see, whenever someone says to me, "I'm going to the cinema," all I say in my head is the gif of a. You got more money than sense, man. I can't afford cinema prices.
No, it's View Cinema. It's £5 a ticket. £5 a ticket, and not just that, but it's recliner seats.
Nice.
That is tasty. There we go. We are back tomorrow at 8:30. Owen Griffiths, the king of sarcasm, and the designer George Nunn joining me live at 8:30. If you like your non-league action, I've got the Suffolk Ipswich League review show at 7:15 on the Trimley Red Devils page. But until then, that is the Queen of Hearts, Amy Downs. He is the artist, Curtis Yates. Just do a little twirl, Curtis. Show us the masterpiece as we close tonight's show. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing.
It's not for everyone, but it's certainly for him. Enjoy it, Curtis. We love you. Appreciate you.
I'm trying to.
You can't sleep at the moment between me and you. But there we go. We're live tomorrow, 8:30. Enjoy. Sadly, the afternoon's a bit fucked up in it, but we move.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the